Did more people have sex or did more people die?
But Carmela just like has a machine gun.
When the guy's holding the gun like this, he's like, hold it straight.
One note about the strippers.
Okay.
Sometimes they have their tops off, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Curious to know if we notice a trend.
We're going to have to keep an eye on the strippers. This is Daddy Loves Sopranos.
Daddy Loves Sopranos.
It's our podcast where we're going to be talking about the Sopranos.
Yeah, Daddy loves a good HBO.
Yeah, my daddy does anyway.
My daddy does too.
What do you think about our generation?
I hate your generation.
Why?
Why? Well, because
I'm obsessed with Chris's eyebrows.
Tell me more. It's going to sound so good on camera. All right.
Cheers.
We're doing it.
Cheers.
Oh, I love Blood Brothers so much. So this is Blood Brothers Zero IPA. So my favorite beer before I stopped drinking was Blood Brothers Shumei,
Okay.
but also Blood Light.
That's a good one.
So
Blood Light's
any
good.
like Blood Brothers beers. So
Yeah.
I really like their zero alcohol ones, their NA alcohol ones.
All right.
This isn't my favorite one of theirs. They have this like really good like mango sour. But so yeah, so we're drinking it's just kind of like a light beer.
Okay.
What do you?
I've never had this one before.
Does it make you feel like it's beer or like does it not do the job?
It's good.
Yeah.
I think the lighter the better with NA beer, to be honest.
Yeah, it's got to be a lighter beer or it's got to be extreme flavor to the point where it's like a juice and it doesn't even resemble beer at all.
Yeah, like a sour.
Yeah, exactly.
I only drink light like this. Well,
Yeah.
it's an IPA, I guess, but
Yeah.
it's light. And then like Bellwoods.
Bellwoods is good.
Yeah.
God, I miss Rorschach Brewery so much.
You know much more about Ontario
About
than
Ontario
me.
craft beers. What can I say? I'm a huge snob. Okay,
Connoisseur.
so that's what we're drinking today. This is Daddy Loves Sopranos.
Daddy Loves Sopranos.
It's our podcast where we're going to be talking about the Sopranos.
Yeah, Daddy loves a good HBO.
Yeah, my daddy does anyway. But
My daddy does too, I guess.
I don't believe that for a second.
No, they enjoyed it. My parents enjoyed The Sopranos. I think it's the same complaints that everyone has. Too violent, too many women getting hit.
Okay. I feel like I could picture your dad in the scenes where they're in strip clubs and stuff. Your dad being like, "Oh, geez."
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to picture that.
Okay.
This is a throwback.
Yeah.
So my parents, because I didn't have cable growing up, so my parents would rent I think might have been VHS from the library to watch Sopranos. Probably into time it became the DVD, but I think a lot of it they watched on VHS.
That's very on brand for you and your family. On each episode of this podcast, we're going to watch 2 episodes and react to them.
Yes.
So we watched the first 2 episodes. Was this your first time seeing the episodes?
No, I've watched season 1 and 2 of The Sopranos so far in my life. And I stopped for the same reason my parents didn't enjoy it, was too many women were getting hit. So I remember the first episode very fondly because it's iconic. It's iconic first episode of a series, in my opinion. So I thoroughly enjoyed both these episodes.
Yeah.
We're just meeting the family. We're meeting the mobsters, all that jazz.
My dad loves The Sopranos. You will see that. You will see that.
Does he look like Tony Soprano?
You know what? My dad looks like a Jewish Anderson Cooper. So like imagine Tony Soprano, but like thinner and with hair and like kind of. My dad would have The Sopranos on, and when I was a kid, I would have been like 10, 12, something when it was on TV because it came out in like 2000, 2001.
You're old.
I'm an old man. But so it was on TV. So I for sure saw it. And my mom would always come into the room and be like, "What are you showing them this?"
I was going to ask what your dad's name is.
My dad's name is Morris.
I'm meeting him for the first time today via phone call.
I saw the episodes, but like that's my only relationship with this show.
This is exciting then.
Yeah.
You've never seen it. You've never seen it in its entirety, even
No.
like a season.
No, so it's all kind of familiar because like I've seen moments. Like I've definitely seen the fake blood. Like I've definitely seen people getting shot and like
The strippers.
the strippers. I saw the strippers when I remember that well. Obviously. And I'm excited to like experience the show as an adult in this context.
Great.
We've written some notes here. Everyone looks very normal on this show.
I'm pleasantly surprised how many people do not have lip injections on this show.
That's like the main thing that stood out to me.
Only thing that is like over the top is, in my opinion, Carmela's hair. It's
Okay.
always well done, you know?
Oh, okay.
It's always like that. The hair is done.
It's the volume. Like
Yeah.
there's certain scenes where she walks in and it's so obvious that she's just come from the salon or something because it's so
Exactly.
much bigger.
Well, that's one of my questions is
Uh-huh.
like, does she do it herself every day?
I think that she wouldn't. No. Like I imagine she's going to the salon regularly.
I agree. Tony, is he hot?
He looks a lot younger than I remember him looking.
His teeth are also funny. Have you noticed that?
No.
His teeth are kind of garbled.
Okay.
He looks like he's been through some shit already.
Well, he has on the show. So when we meet Tony, he's running North Jersey. So he's already like a big shot.
It's
And
true.
of all the things that bother him, though, it doesn't seem like being a mobster is what bothers him.
It's true. I think the only thing that really bothers him is his mother.
Yeah, his mother is what... So in a way, me and Tony are very similar.
She's also an interesting character.
I
I don't think we'll talk about her too much in this
Okay.
first one, but
Okay.
I think we should talk about the mom at some point.
Okay.
People also ask, is The Sopranos episode 1 good?
That's like the worst episode by far, according to my dad.
Maybe he doesn't like ducks.
The first episode aired January 10th, 99.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was older than that.
I was born 91, so I would have been 8. So
Big flex.
yeah, huge flex. Tony is going into his first psychiatry appointment, and he's talking to his doctor. He sees the ducks. We meet a lot of the characters like Christopher, Alex. Carmela is maybe seeing the priest.
Oh, yeah.
Tony is maybe seeing other people. Tony is experiencing anxiety attacks. In the end of the episode, we find out there's going to be drama with Uncle Junior.
I think it's like the King Charles thing, you know? Like he was always second man, and then essentially he has his power now, but it's not for long. It's fleeting because he's old. And then technically he doesn't really do anything, but he had the title. In the end, Tony is like doing everything anyway.
Right. And then in episode 2, Tony and Uncle Junior are about to get involved in a family power struggle. Tony's mother agrees to live in a retirement community.
I'm not going there.
It's a retirement community. Okay. Is Tony Soprano famous? To me, it doesn't seem like it's a secret that he's a mobster. What do you think?
I agree. I think there's some kind of unwritten rule that he gets away with everything.
So there's this teacher. The teacher owes them money because he was gambling. And so Tony runs him over with the car. And nobody cares or calls the police.
Question for the audience. Has anyone lived in North Jersey? Maybe this happens all the time. Just another day in Jersey.
Right.
Just crime is really bad.
Uh-huh.
And, like, this happens all the time.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
On a college campus.
Did this happen for you when you were in Boston?
No. But it could have. My other guess is he's just paying off people. So he's paying off people so he can live like that. And, okay, third is perhaps he's never been caught. For example, I've been caught fare evading. And therefore, every time I fare evade, I'm nervous I'm going to get a ticket. Whereas Tony probably has never been caught or thrown to jail. It seems like his dad never went to jail. So therefore, I feel like he has this, like, he's on top of the world.
Okay, I'm going to be vulnerable. What is fare evade? I don't know what that means.
Oh, like if you go on the subway and they catch you not paying.
It's called fare evading?
Yeah, like you didn't pay your
Oh, fare evasion.
fare evading.
If you fare evade.
Fare
I heard
evade.
like fare evade.
Oh, no, fare evading. Two words.
Got it. I feel so much better now.
I guess it's fare evasion, but
Okay.
it's the verb
Okay.
conjugating it.
Got it. Thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that. Okay, so it's not clear if Tony's famous, I guess is the point. And we learned what fare evasion is.
Okay, but I have to say that I'm kind of into the fact that he walks around like that. You know, like he can kind of just like, yeah, hit a person, the bone sticks out, and he's like, yeah, give me my money. Walk away. Nothing happens.
Exactly.
Sick.
Yeah.
What a way to live. One of my favorite places you find money is when Carmela opens the Campbell's soup can.
The tomato sauce, yeah.
Her kids probably went to get soup one day and they were like, oh, money. Maybe.
I immediately thought of the bear.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay, maybe a little...
Maybe they're all connected.
maybe
And they're
it's all
Italian.
connected. So maybe if you ever date an Italian man, look in the soup. You might find some money.
You were both really into the clothes and props in the show?
Yes, important. I think it's a good snap back into time.
Yeah.
99. Even like the sets and stuff, everything was like a little bit dirty. Like nothing had been like revamped yet. You know, like nothing has been renovated.
It reminded me so much of like my friends' parents' houses. I did my first ever drinking in a living room that looked like Tony Soprano's kitchen.
Yeah. Or even just like the floral couch.
Everything's kind of beige.
Too many pictures on the wall.
Everything's a gallery wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite props from the first episode?
The bathrobe and the big billowing boxer shorts.
Yeah, that's good.
He's got bathrobe, boxer shorts, reading the newspaper, doesn't have a care in the world. And I was like, damn, I would love to be that. I would love to, that level of disregard for everything. Oh,
it's good. I like that.
If that counts as a prop, then that's it for me. What about you?
This is a very specific thing that I noticed in episode 1. It was Anthony Jr. He had a hat. I think it was a Super 8 ball with a face that had a king crown on it.
Oh, that's it. Wait.
Is it a brand?
Yeah. The Hundreds. Bobby Hundreds. If it's what I'm thinking it is, it's a West Coast brand.
Okay.
And I'll put it on the screen.
That was my favorite. I thought it was very cool. He was probably pretty cool. And I don't know if he's cool in school. We haven't really seen him, but I could imagine because he probably affords like cool clothes, he's probably cool. And I think that hat probably represents that he's cool. And the other thing in episode 1, I guess it's a prop, technically, but when Meadow gets caught sneaking out to Aspen.
Yeah.
But Carmela just like full on has a machine gun. And she just pulls it out of the dining room closet and it's like has a machine gun. I was like, what the fuck?
Like when the priest is like, whoa.
Episode 2, highlight prop.
Highlight prop in episode 2. I think this is just a general note. The outfits that the mobsters wear when they're together are so good.
They're so iconic.
Suits are those like silky looking like short sleeve shirts and the big like flowing like Armani looking pants.
And they always have like 3 necklaces on.
And bracelets.
And then a big cross.
A ring. Tony wears a pinky ring.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep an eye on his watch. Because eventually he rocks a Rolex Presidential, which is a pretty iconic looking watch. But so far I haven't seen it. And I'm wondering if it's because the budget goes up as the show progresses.
Probably.
And so for now, I think he's just wearing like a generic, like gold looking watch. As a kid, I couldn't really distinguish between the different mobsters, but I feel like they all have very distinct personalities.
Pussy.
Hard to take him seriously.
Yeah. But having watched a couple seasons of the show, he's a good one. I like him a lot.
Cool. I'm excited to see more of him for sure.
Okay. I think Uncle Junior, he's got Larry David vibe.
For sure.
Okay. And then I also think, I don't remember his name, the guy that was like upset that people had stolen all the Italian traditions. He looks like Fred Armisen a little bit.
I think he looks like Fred Flintstone.
Okay. We'll
put them up on screen. I'll put them up on screen.
Can I tell you about my highlight from episode 2?
Yeah. I guess I should have asked.
I liked the lamp. In the mom's house? Okay, I wrote down what kind of... It was a type of gold Mulu lamp.
Mulu lamp. What about it?
It was just so aggressive. She was like, you know how much this will be worth? So obviously it's a special lamp in some capacity, but it looks kind of just like part of the living room.
In that scene, they mention all the Cartier jewelry that she's given up.
I think she has a lot of hidden stuff in her house. I mean, she doesn't live there anymore, we find out. But that lamp, I'm curious to know if we can do some research. I forgot to do the research, but I'm curious to know how much that lamp is.
I don't want you setting a standard that we're going to do research for this show.
I had visions of me making a Google Doc of all the cool things I saw in the episode, but then I was like, I didn't have time.
Did the reality sink in of what our lives are currently?
Anyways, I like the lamp. I just want to point out that Jason has not had one sip of his beer. And
I've had so many.
Really?
I can't wait to cut to how many times to prove you wrong. That's so funny.
I haven't seen it. Maybe I've been just so indulged with myself talking that I haven't noticed. But I was like, why has he not touched his beer?
All right. Well, I'm going to put it on screen now. And I can't wait for you to see that. That's hilarious. Kill count versus kill count. Did more people have sex or did more people die?
Okay, let's start with the people that got nicked.
They got nicked. Okay, so the people that got nicked. Truck driver died in episode 2. When the guy's holding the gun like this, he's like, hold it straight. The guy whose body when they throw it into the dumpster, it's like,
oh, yeah.
They go like 1, too. It's this wide shot where like the dumpster is so clearly too high. It was never gonna happen.
How did he die?
Christopher lured a man into the back of the meat store and then shot him in the back of the head.
Okay, so 2 kills. I think that was it.
And then, so far, we haven't seen any explicit sex. But as you pointed out when we were setting up, Tony goes to a restaurant with a mistress, so presumably that's 1. And then Tony's on a boat with this blonde girl, so that's 2.
And then Carmela, I guess. And the priest.
Do we think that she's sleeping with the priest?
No.
I also don't think so. Tony just like says that she's having sex with the priest.
So we have 2 versus 2.
So
All
even
right.
split so far. Good job, episode 1 and episode 2. Each episode of this show is going to feature my dad, the titular daddy.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to call him now and see what happens. Hi, Dad.
Hi.
So can you tell us about the first episode, and can you tell me about the real-life mobster that's in the episode?
So the real life mobster, one of the actors, he recently passed away. The character that he plays is Paulie Walnuts. He turns out to be a very, prominent character. He was actually a real life mobster in the 70s. If you check YouTube, you can see some of his interviews where he talks about his days in the mob. A lot of the other actors in the show also appear in a lot of mob movies. So the guy who plays Uncle Junior, Dominic Sinise, who also went on afterwards to do Boardwalk Empire. He was actually in the original Godfather. Actually, I'm not sure if it was the sequel, but he was in one of them. Then there's Stevie Van Zandt, Tony Soprano's second in command. So Stevie Van Zandt is an original member of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. But he's also, since The Sopranos, done a couple of shows. And then, of course, there's James Gandolfini, who plays Tony Soprano, who's since passed away. He's, quite an interesting character. And the whole show, it's like really brilliantly written. I think beautifully acted. And it's really, having always loved mob shows and mob movies, what's different about this one is it's dramatic, it's comedic, and it actually also shows, follows Tony Soprano in the opening scene. He's sitting in his analyst's office. So it shows that the guy is a human being and has a family, and sort of follows him not only in his mob life, but his family life, and trying to deal with anxiety, trying to deal with his own mother issues. And it's just a lot of fun. But don't kid yourself, it's got a lot of extremely violent moments, but I kind of like that too. So anyways,
that's great. Can I ask a question?
You can ask me as many questions as you want.
Okay, so the guy that plays the mobster, the one that was in real life, did he sell his story for millions?
I actually don't know if he sold it for millions. I think he just sort of got out of the mob, and then he did some interviews. He definitely made an acting career. He was in, several mob movies. As I say, a lot of these actors, you'll see them in, one of my favorites is Goodfellas. So a lot of these guys are in Goodfellas, some of the actors that you'll see later in the show. Michael Imperioli, who plays Tony's nephew, Chrissy, is actually got his start, I think, in Goodfellas. Yeah, he's the guy. He plays Spider in Goodfellas. He gets shot and then ultimately killed in Goodfellas.
Okay.
I remember that.
Chris is my favorite.
Yeah, well, because it's a very complicated character, right?
Yeah, I want to heal him.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but he tries many different attempts at being healed, but you can't fix everybody, right?
All right.
Not so easy. So, but he's a good character.
I feel like Christopher represents the impatient millennial that wants to move up the ranks. Do you have any sort of reaction to that? What do you think about our generation?
I hate your generation.
Why?
Why? Well, because because of the millennials? Well, I can only tell you about the millennials that I work with, because certainly, I love my children. I don't hate you. But I do hate the millennial attitude. What I find really irritating is I find that millennials have grown up entitled. It was always, you wanted to give them the best, make sure they don't have to fight for things that I perceive I had to fight for. But having said that, when I look at the millennials in my office, I think they make a really good living, but they don't really want to put in the time or effort to work hard and make more money and, in fact, make it easier for the older people. They want to have a work-life balance, but they don't want us to have a work-life balance. And quite frankly, they don't care whether we have a work-life balance. They're interested in making as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, without necessarily putting in the time, I think. So I don't like that sort of attitude. I think that we grew up in a time when we were scared of the people we worked for, and we really, felt that we had to, when they said jump, we had to jump. And, when I tell somebody to jump in my office, they tell me to jump.
I think that Christopher represents that on the show.
Good point. He wants to move quickly. He also, Tony refers to him as his nephew, but there's a little bit of nepotism involved there too. And yeah, I think that he wants to move up the ladder as quickly as possible without necessarily, in Tony or other mobsters' minds, putting the time in. But again, you'll see that play out a little bit later. Like, I don't think you really get a sense of it right now because they're just developing the characters. You'll definitely see them evolve. You'll see the acting change. Tony's accent, it's not as pronounced as it is in the first episode. It'll be fun to watch. I like, or in the opener where in the first couple of seasons, you see the Twin Towers, but, once 9/11 happens, you don't see the Twin Towers anymore. Stuff like that. I think I'm babbling.
No, you're doing great.
Do you think everyone knows Tony Soprano is Tony Soprano?
You'll see that they suspect that he's in the mob, but he always refers to him as being in waste management. And so they have this strip joint, they call it the Bada Bing. By the way, that does really exist in New Jersey. It goes under a different name, which escapes me right now, but these are real spots.
You're losing points by not knowing the name of it off the top of your head.
Sorry. But people suspect that he's in the mob, so there'll be episodes where you'll see his neighbor, who's a doctor, suspects he's in the mob, but no, he doesn't walk around throughout the series and people say, oh, there goes Tony Soprano, except in that first episode.
Thank you very much for your time, and it's fun to do a podcast about a show that you know so much about.
Thanks, Morris.
Okay, you're very welcome. I hope this isn't useless. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Dad. Love you. Okay, so you have an obsession.
Okay. I'm obsessed with Chris's eyebrows.
Tell me more.
He's like such a try-hard. He wants to be loved so badly, and you want to just be like, it's okay. Like, stop being so silly. You know what I mean?
I'm ready. I'm ready to be made.
I want to be a killer, Tony. I mean, it's so classic that I would obsess over Chris, but I just feel like he's misunderstood. That's why. I want to help him. I just want to be like, it's okay. Anyways, I think his eyebrows are great.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my favorite Chris outfit.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he had a tracksuit on, but
yeah.
But it was like a short sleeve tracksuit.
Did
you see that one?
Didn't even clock it. Didn't even
It
notice.
was so good.
That's ridiculous.
It was like Nike, and then it had like the same tracksuit material and had the big collar, and then it was short sleeve.
That's insane. I can't believe I didn't notice that. We should make a sweeping declaration. Those tank tops, historically called wife beaters. Some people call them wife pleasers.
I once told my dad, nice wife beat. And then he told me never to say that ever again. And so, to be honest, as I said it previously, I was like, should I say that? But everyone knows what it is.
I know. It's like if we say white tank top, it's like, ugh. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do you care? Do you care?
Does anyone care?
Controversy noted.
A Walmart purchase.
A man went to Walmart and bought a tank top. He just wanted his shoulders out. Spaghetti straps were not an option.
And you don't have to be fit to wear them. It can be any body shape.
They're so inclusive in a way. The Sopranos is an extremely body positive show for the men on the show.
Do we want to talk about the strippers?
Sure. The strippers seem like totally normal girls. There's a scene where Tony is on the phone and his mom's house is on fire. The strippers slowly stop dancing and walk over to Tony, and then they're like, Is your mom okay? Like,
They have no shirt on.
they're so casual.
Okay, my one note about the strippers
Okay.
is sometimes they have their tops off, sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Curious to know if we notice a trend when that happens.
Okay.
That's
We'll keep an eye on the strippers.
question.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have to keep an eye on the strippers.
Okay, what are your predictions?
It seems like someone's gonna try to kill Tony. Hey. I think someone's going to try to kill Tony, maybe Uncle Junior.
Okay.
I also think Christopher wanting to move up is going to be a recurring thing. I think Carmela is going to, over the course of the show, it's clear there's real love there, but that's going to be a source of stress. And then there's so much we have to see, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface with the first 2 episodes. What do you think is going to happen?
I think something's going to happen with the psychiatrist. She's going to get a little involved or something.
Do you think they're going to hook up?
No, I think Tony's gonna like make a move because he's gonna be like that's his response mechanism, you know.
Yeah.
I remember really liking Chris's girlfriend. She's a really interesting character. Did
we see her?
We
Did
saw
we meet
her
her
once at the when they were trying to get into the club.
Yes, that's
but
right.
She's a really interesting character because he's like so obsessed with like becoming somebody, but she's just like everything's gonna be okay. She's kind of like the next Carmela. She knows what's up. She wants to be treated in a certain way, and so she puts up with a lot of shit.
Cool. I'm really excited to keep watching the show, and it's I mean we just have to make a podcast about it. We just have to. That's why we're doing this.
You can't
start an old show and not make a podcast about it. That's why we're doing this. Okay, we want to start a thing where Tony is such a strong character, and I feel like as the show's going to progress, we're really going to understand who Tony is, how he behaves in certain situations. And so we want to do a segment called What Would Tony Do? WWTD. And so we want you to comment and let us know like questions you might like situations you might have, like asking for advice, about your life, as personal as you feel like. And we're going to respond based on how we think Tony would handle the situation to help you with your situation.
Yeah, and you might even get a little "What would Tony do?" response from a real daddy.
That's true. He's going to be like an enigma. Like people are going to be very excited about Morris.
Yeah, it's true. We'll be having a different non-alcoholic beer every episode.
Yeah.
So if you have one that we should try, please let us know also.
Yeah.
Again.
Or if you're a brewery that makes non-alcoholic beer and you want to sponsor us, that would be cool too. We don't.
Because let's be real, we can't really get through The Sopranos without some booze. It's too stressful.
It's way too stressful. That's Ray. I'm Jason. If you want to watch along with us, we're doing 2 episodes every week. Next week's episodes 3 and 4. Ray, what's your Instagram?
No, just follow us on Instagram. That's fine. Just follow on YouTube.